Now, as you know, the inflation figure is heading the direction that the government wants because they want the political uptick of a cut in the Reserve Bank rate. As you know, we're at the lowest inflation rate in the best part of 4 years. There's an asterisk in all of this. I know no one really cares about the detail, but I will follow it in a moment or two's time. But just in case there was any doubt about where the independent journalists are, they don't view this as anything financial. They view this as exclusively political. This actually happened on the news.
The light at the end of the tunnel for mortgage holders is closer tonight with the release of better than expected inflation data. Financial markets now put the chance of an interest rate cut in February at 90%.
After years of hikes, hurting and hip pocket harm, finally a welcome set of numbers.
And you should have seen when the newsreader was handing over to the reporter. Oh, it was excellent and wonderful news, the best political news a government could hope for. I didn't think they were cheering for one side or the other, but of course they all are, you know that. For his part, the Treasurer was putting the best spin on, yes, good numbers. No one's going to pretend they're not good numbers.
Underlying inflation is now at its lowest in 3 years. These are very welcome developments. Inflation is now almost a third of the 6.1% that we inherited when we came to office.
Now, I agree with those that say it is time for the Reserve Bank to cut rates. Why? Not because of the politics, but because we've suffered for long enough. The per capita recession in the country has gone on for the best part of 18 months. Normal people have been squeezed too tight for too long. Again, I don't care what the political consequences are, but also a reminder about what inflation numbers that come out each month or each quarter show us. It's not just because inflation increases went here and then the increases are not as much. There's still, imagine, a continuous line of how much things have gone up. And over the past 3 years, they have gone up well and truly. You name it, it has gone up. Now, to give you an idea that while, yes, electricity was low because of the subsidies that are being offered to everyone from the biggest homes in the country to the smallest ones in country towns, and the overall inflation has a 2 in front of it, the core inflation has a 3 in front of it, even when it's a beautiful set of numbers, have a look if you purchase any of these things that are above average inflation, meaning the only reason the average number gets pulled down is because of the artificial things the government has done here. Tobacco, year on year it's up 12%. Education, year on year it's up 6.5%. Rent, year on year up 6%. Alcohol and tobacco, insurance, all with a 5 in front of it. Fruit and veg, well and truly above the average rate. Meat and seafood, gas and other households, health, non-alcoholic beverages, alcohol, food products, and of course alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages together, all above the high number. Now, the reality might be that the Prime Minister thinks that he's going to be onto some sort of a political winner here because if the Reserve Bank cuts as a result of these numbers, then the soft landing is on its way. Well, I'll give you the tip. The only people that are having the soft landing are the people who've had enough cushion for the landing. The idea that people who have been under the pump for 3 years might receive moderate, and I repeat, moderate relief on one of the things that are not going to go down in prices, yet again up, but just by a smaller margin next month, the quarter after that and the quarter after that, because that's the way that companies work. As soon as they are able to get away with being able to charge a certain amount for whatever reason, it never gets reversed. Prices don't go backwards because the economy gets better. They just assume that you're going to put up with it, and largely people will. The artificial effects are that a government that is about to preside over 40 budget deficits into our future, that has structurally built, as I explained in great chapter and verse last night, a tax system that is in revolving around 63% of a bottle of booze going to the government, not the company that makes it, the government, shows that all of this is about the surface level. All of this is about the politics. Of course, the polls at this stage, who knows if they're going to be moving anytime soon. Prime Minister would hope they're wrong and will start moving between now and the next federal election. But wasn't power supposed to be down by $275 by 2025? Is your power down? And yeah, if interest rates go from And there have been 13 interest rate rises since 2022. There have been 12 under Albo's watch. If the pressure on paying off your house goes back to the 11th or the 10th interest rate rise, is anyone going to be singing hallelujah? As I told you last night, Western Australia, average home loan about $400,000. The best part of interest that you pay off on your $400,000 is about $69,000. And that has gone up by about half since this government came to power. So let's not muck around here. Which is why perhaps the most interesting numbers politically, for those of us that talk about politics all day and all night for a living, came not from the Australian Bureau of Statistics today, but the old-fashioned bookies. Now, as I've shown you, since last year, they have put a position where they believe there's going to be a change of government. Well, the odds for the Labor Party blew out even further today. Coalition favoured at $1.72, according to Sportsbet. Remember, Sportsbet thought that Labor was going to win in 2019, so you don't bet the house, but still, interesting that they are saying that even on a day of good news and the beginning of potential political recovery and all the rest of it that the Canberra Press Gallery is desperate to talk about, they are saying the coalition forms the next government. Exactly which version of it, be it majority or minority, we'll all find out together. They've also shown us some of the seats that might be up for grabs. Now, they have listed a whole bunch of seats that are basically safe seats. A marginal seat that Labor currently holds and is about to put Rebecca White, the multiple-time loser and Labor leader in Tasmania, into, well, she would lose the seat again. One of the places where the coalition would be picking up a seat, according to the bookies, that moves them to their overall conclusion, would begin in Tasmania. That would mean they would have Bass and Lyons on either side, and presumably Braddon might move across, so there could be 2 seats out of Tasmania. Watch this space.